A lot of my subscribers have been telling me or emailing me about this story right here, and now I'm going to finally speak on it. As a matter of fact, the first way I found out about it was when I did the Petty Pendergrass production on Don Imus. Someone had left a comment in the chat that said Nick Gorton. I had to jog my memory a little bit and say, who in the world is Nick Gorton? And I typed his name into Google and I was like, oh, that's who they're talking about. Now, they didn't say what happened to him. So when I typed it into the search, it just said that he died from a drug overdose at the age of 30. And I said, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but for the sake of sounding like one, something seems real fishy here. Now, if you remember, Nick Gorton was really close to Whitney Houston. And of course, he was dating her daughter, Bobbi Kristina Brown. The daughter that, of course, Whitney and Bobby Brown had together while they were married. And there was always something kind of off about him to me and to a lot of other people who was watching that family closely. And it's just it just seemed just kind of weird. Like they had a very interesting and yet a tumultuous type of relationship. And I've always said that after Whitney had passed, Bobbi Kristina really wasn't the same after that, because, just a few months later or maybe a couple years later, she ended up suffering herself from an apparent drug overdose as well, much like her mother. And they found her in a tub just like her mother. If I hear that Nick Gorton was found in a tub, I'm going to say that this might have the markings of someone who was connected to them that basically wanted them dead, or maybe there was some money involved that wasn't paid, like a debt, and they just took them out. But if you also remember, Nick Gorton was on an episode of Dr. Phil a few years ago, and I think it was after Bobbi Kristina had died. And if you looked at his demeanor and his posture, it was kind of off. You could tell that he was on something then. Like he was jumping in and out of mood swings like it was nothing. He could not stay in one stationary position to save his life. Like, if you don't believe me, go back and watch that interview and watch his body language. Like, I'm a good reader of body language, and his body language was just off the charts. But as you all know, Nick Gorton was recently found dead from a drug overdose, allegedly. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to read this article and see what other additional information we can find out. Nick Gorton, the ex-boyfriend of Bobbi Kristina Brown, has died. He was 30. Gorton's brother, Jack Walker Jr., confirms to People that Gorton died Wednesday in Florida following a drug overdose. We are devastated by the loss of my beautiful brother, Walker Jr. tells People in a statement. He leaves a void in the hearts of my family and his friends. Nick's battle in life was not an easy one. I will forever be grateful that my God afforded a small moment at the very end of Nick's life, and I was able to hold his hand as he journeyed on. In response to Gorton's death, Gorton's lawyer Joe S. Hibachi tells People, my heart is heavy today after learning that my longtime client Nick Gorton died at the young age of 30. While I cannot speak to the specific circumstances of his death, I can say that it has been truly heartbreaking to witness firsthand the total devastation that drug addiction has wreaked upon a group of young friends, all of whom were loved and had immense potential. Despite all of the incredible challenges Nick faced over the last few years, I can honestly say that he worked hard to hold his head up and stay sober, and that he genuinely wanted a happy, healthy life with his family more than anything else. My heart goes out to the family and friends Nick leaves behind, and to many other families dealing with the losses and heartache caused by drugs. Sources told Daily Mail that Gorton had suffered a number of heart attacks on New Year's Day and was rushed to the intensive care unit at Altamonte Springs Hospital, where he eventually died. Walker Jr. expressed his heartbreak on Facebook shortly after the devastating news, first writing, God, why did I have to lose my brother on New Year's? And all I can do was cry. He went on a separate post, I love you so much, big brother. I hope you heard me talking to you at your bedside. You are with me. I can feel it. I love you. I love you. I love you. Watch over me and your nieces. Shit wasn't supposed to go like this. You were my best friend, and I never in a million years thought I'd be writing this for my ace. I was there through every step. We all love you no matter what, and we'll all stay strong for you. New Year's didn't have to start like this, and you just told me you had to see me for New Year's, but I'm blessed I got to talk to you last night. You will forever be my best friend. Nobody will ever take your place. Gordon's sudden death comes 3 years after he was found liable in the wrongful death case of Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobbi Kristina Brown. The 22-year-old was found unconscious and unresponsive with drugs in her system in the bathtub of a Georgia townhouse she shared with Gordon in early 2015. As a result of the case decision, Gordon was ordered by a judge to pay $36 million to her estate. In recent years, Gordon found himself entangled in legal drama after his girlfriend Laura Leal accused him of physical altercation. According to a March 2018 arrest report obtained by People, Leal had told authorities that her boyfriend struck her in the face while she was driving, adding that he had pulled her hair and stated to her that he should make her wreck the vehicle. In 2018 of April, however, Leal under oath denied being struck or touched against her will by Gordon in statements written in a letter to the judge, according to a statement from the Seminole County State Attorney first obtained by the blast. Due to those statements contradicting her original ones, prosecutors decided not to go through with a trial following the review of body cam footage, the 911 audio, sworn statements, and jail call recordings, and announced that Gordon would not be charged. With no independent witnesses to the incident, prosecutors do not have good faith based on what to proceed to trial. Gordon was previously arrested in June 2017 on domestic battery and false imprisonment charges after Leal filed a police report alleging her boyfriend had beaten her and held her in her home. The charges were dropped in August of that year. Leal was Gordon's latest high-profile romance since the passing of Brown. This is just, it's a wild story. It really is. But I'm going to tell you this. One person we need to keep our eye on is that Pat Houston. Yes, Whitney Houston's sister-in-law. Because it seems like every time some kind of a tragedy occurs with that family, here comes Pat Houston with all her crew and equipment ready to put a camera in somebody's face and do some kind of special in order to collect some kind of a coin. Trust me on this. Because I remember after Whitney had passed, they had did some kind of reality show or something like that was surrounding Whitney Houston's family that involved her, Bobbi Kristina. Nick Gordon was a part of it. Bobby Brown had no parts, but I doubt he wanted any parts of that. And it was right after Whitney's death. I think her mother was on it. And then, I think she was the one that probably convinced Oprah to come in there. Okra, the Mammy Supreme Wig-Free, to come in there and do that special or interview with Bobbi Kristina literally like a month after she passed. So all I'm going to say is keep an eye on Pat Houston, because that woman is an opportunistic snake. She really is. And anybody who is familiar with Pat Houston knows how opportunistic this woman is. She is actually, I think she was married or is married to Whitney's brother, Gary Houston, who, if I'm not mistaken, was the one that helped get her addicted to cocaine. Now, when I found that out, I think that was a shock to a lot of people because no one really knew how Whitney got onto those drugs. But he came out and admitted himself a few years ago, and I'll never forget it when he said that. And everyone thought it was Bobby Brown that did it, but I was like, no, it wasn't even him. But they wanted it to be him so bad because he was considered to be the bad boy of R&B, quote unquote. But yeah, this is a very interesting story. It's a very fishy one because, like I said, Whitney died of an overdose. Her daughter, Bobbi Kristina Brown, died of an overdose. Now he's dead of an overdose. So I have a lot of questions that just need answering. I just can't form all of them right now at the moment. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.